Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very 35th episode of Roll20 Presents Tomb of Annihilation. We're gonna play some Dungeons and Dragons. Hi, hello, hi, welcome.
Yep, that is the intention. Yes.
We were gonna play some Dungeons and Dragons last week. But there was a whole thing. There was a whole thing.
They had like a
on.
whole jam.
There
going on.
There was eyeballs everywhere or something.
That
I don't
thing
know.
is gross, Dave.
There was a bunch of things going on. So.
Oh, that's fucking monster.
Oh yeah, corpse flower.
Ugh.
No, that's a separate. We're talking about modern kind and stuff. And what
Yeah, because I got it.
Yeah, look at that. Good product
so
placement.
I was looking at it. There's lots of stuff.
Good product.
Nice work. Ding. You get your nerfs.
Well done.
Good work.
Look
So.
at this art though, it's really cool.
So is that what's her name? Zugutmoy?
You know that off the top of your head. I'm incredibly impressed.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's Zugut Moy.
Boom!
Holy shit.
She's my second favorite. I like Dweeblex the best, but
Dweeblex.
Zugutmoy gets a second. I only like Dweeblex because I'm a big fan of slime gods. Gonadar is like, Gonadar's my boy.
Slime gods.
Looking through Mordenkainen's, and I feel like the monster manual in general, it really takes me back to when I was a kid. And I was looking through my sister's and my cousin's like monster manual type books, and I really wanted to play D&D, but I never got to. I just looked at the pretty pictures.
And now, look at you now,
look at you
playing
now.
D&D on the D&D.
That's right.
Blue Jay.
If you haven't
I
had
just
the
really liked
opportunity,
pretty pictures of, like,
if you haven't had the
Dryad.
opportunity, friends of mine, to go back, my favorite old D&D monster manual is the Fiend Folio. It's one with the Gith Yankee on the cover. Primo. It's so good. It's all these weird. It was like, I think it was like a collection of monsters that had shown up in White Dwarf, and they collected them and put them in this book. So they're all these weird like English game designer monsters, and ooh, they're good stuff. They're good stuff. That's where the Flumph came from. I think the flail snail originated in that book as well. So that's my
That
favorite
would
monster.
not surprise me.
Yeah, it's like a snail, but
Yeah, it's a giant snail with, instead of the eye stalks, quote unquote, it has mace heads
Yeah.
Wow.
that it bludgeons you to death with.
It's beautiful.
That sounds pleasant.
It's
That sounds
pretty gnarly too. I think it's a pretty high level monster.
I mean, listen, we live in a fictional world where the Zorbo reigns supreme. So
I don't know
anything
that I would
goes.
say they reign supreme.
Okay, they reign from above at least.
Rain
They certainly reign from above.
from above.
There's some reigning. Anyhow, we've got a tomb. We don't have a tomb to explore. We have a fane to negotiate.
A fane,
Yeah, a fane, which is an archaic word for a temple or shrine. So, yeah, for folks who may have forgotten or who have not tuned in before, we are playing through the module Tomb of Annihilation, as you can tell by the name of the show, and the players have just completed their exploration of the Forbidden City of Omu, and at the invitation, by way of blood and corpses, the lure,
And pointing fingers.
There's pointy fingers. They've found their way to the fane of the Night Serpent, to the lair of, yes, it's you, we see, of Ras Nsi, the necromancer who has been plaguing the jungles of Chult for some time. And so when we tune in on our characters, we find them in that very entrance in the
I hope it doesn't take too long to get there, because I would like to rush and see him myself.
I was gonna say, you know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna rust and see. Didn't really work.
Anybody
No.
else? Anybody else
think
got a
that was better.
terrible pun?
No.
Okay. All right. So, let's reintroduce our characters. It's been a couple of weeks. We'll start with because Blue Jay is so excited about the art. Blue Jay, tell us about your character. Who are you playing? What is your deal?
Hi, I showed you a picture of my character earlier, and I didn't save the page, so you can just like go back to when I showed that. I'm Arcturus Vivaxith, a Triton Tempest cleric. I'm playing one. I'm not actually one. I'm a human being.
What level is your Triton Tempest cleric?
Are we level 7 now? I forgot.
Seven, Bludge.
Yeah.
7.
That's a real thing. We're level 7
Level
now.
7
That's
now.
crazy.
Yep.
So I'm a level 7 Tempest cleric of Istitia, who is
Not
great.
as cool as Gonadar, but still pretty cool.
You know, you can.
They're both liquid. That's something. Listen, I'm not gonna get all up on your god. It's
They're
fine.
both fluids.
They're both fluids. Yeah. Cool. Tempest cleric. god of water. You're a Triton. It's some good stuff. Down
Thematic.
down below, it's Dave. Dave, who are you playing? Tell us about Malik.
Nah.
No? Okay. All right.
No, I saw somebody in the YouTube comments said, I really can't wait until Adam asks everybody to introduce their characters and someone says no. So
Okay.
good for you, random person.
Malik is a
I'm playing
strange mystery.
sorcerer,
Yeah.
human sorcerer, with the draconic ancestry of a bronze dragon. So I'm all about that fire life.
Yes.
Brass dragon.
Hella about that fire life. Mm-hmm.
I always say bronze, and I mean brass.
Cool.
It's going to be more difficult to cast fireballs underground.
Yes, it will.
Sad time. honestly.
That's true. That's true. We should talk about that. So, does it state in the rules what happens if a fireball, like, does it in previous editions of Dungeons and Dragons, you were guaranteed a volume of fire and it would like blow around corners, or no, it just hits the wall and stops?
Yeah.
Yeah, it spreads around corners and ignites flammable objects in the area, but like that's not super clear.
Right. Okay. So we'll overlay the total size of the fire, but it won't it doesn't expand to fill that much volume. Okay. Yeah. It used to be much more complicated. Same with lightning bolt. Like lightning bolt, you would track it bouncing off of things and it could hit someone like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, thankfully in this campaign, as opposed to the last one, we don't have fog cloud to deal with because that was the whole thing as well.
I still have fog cloud
Okay,
I think Dave
please
was
don't
speaking
cast it.
aspirationally.
Yeah.
because I've used it in this campaign. That's a Triton thing.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah,
Whoa.
Ceres and Arcturus.
Oh, you stopped that combat with it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We don't
that's
talk
really-
about that. There's no lobstermen here. Moving along. Andrew, tell us about your character.
I'm playing Little Fox. She is a level 7 Furbold barbarian
Mm-hmm.
who has beast totems. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Beast totems, yeah. You have the level 7 gives you the initiative advantage thing, right? Though it hasn't worked very well for you.
Yeah, I finally have advantage on initiative rolls, which means it's extra sad when I roll a 3.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Yep. Okay.
So it goes.
And last but not least, our tiny red friend with the big hat. Elf, tell us about your character.
My character is Easy Snaggletooth. She's a level 5 fighter, level 2 rogue, Battlemaster fighter. Yeah. Best fighter ever.
Yeah, living that multi-class life.
Can't stop her. She's great.
And you are currently being accompanied by, though maybe not for long, we'll see if you can convince him to tag along, the Chultan sage, Orvex or Kramus, who previously was employed by the Red Wizards of Thay to translate ancient Omuan. However, his employers are very, very dead. All of them are very dead. And Orvex has been attached to your party for some time. Though you may not need him anymore. Arcturus,
We've been employing him
doing it.
pretty well.
Yeah. Evidently, like I just should know Old Omuan by now because it's been a while and I have.
Isn't
that
yours
thing.
conversational though, and not writing and reading?
Well, yeah, but I copied out that object, and it's like a cipher. It's like it'll like I should just be able to decipher Old Omuan.
According to your ability. Well, like what's the wording on that ability? Because this actually does matter. for me.
The wording on the ability is linguist, but I meant the object. Someone commented that the object was just supposed to like unlock that. Like you can totally choose as GM to like
they're talking about the
Rosetta Stone thing.
The Rosetta Stone thing. Yeah, you can use that to
I've
translate.
made a bunch of rolls
you've been
with
making
it just at advantage. But
Well, I mean, it's up to you if you want to rely on that. Orvex doesn't have to make rolls to translate Omuan ever because he understands it natively. But I think learning language is more than just reading individual letters and like, yeah. Anyway, you can decide if you want to bring him along. But as we fade back in, I would like to remind our audience that you are watching my viewing of the game. So what I'm about to show you, the players cannot see, obviously. So they may be in chat. Try not to spoil things for them. But you're on my team, so shh. Keep it secret. Keep it safe. So The Fane of the Night Serpent. You've been like it's been very clearly laid out in his own special way that Rossensey has invited you to his Fane. He's inviting you to come down here. You're looking for the puzzle cubes. He has 2 of them, and now you are being led into his lair. So where you're at, you can see the doors. You're standing in a wide passage that slopes down to a set of bronze doors. Coiled serpents decorate the metal with a sliding hatch at head height. 4-inch wide holes pierce the base of each door. So you've got little like mouse hole things at the bottom of the door. So far you have approached relatively quietly. You haven't made a lot of noise or anything, but the door is shut. What would you like to do?
Open it.
Well, we weren't invited here, but I suppose that there might be guards or something. Should we? I don't know. This fella's rather bad news, isn't he?
Well, we decided that we were going to take this entrance, and we were following something, but I don't think that means we have to be careless. We've survived this far by taking things slowly and not just opening doors when we see them.
Factually incorrect. I have performed everything that I have done aggressively and quickly, and it has worked out fine.
Okay, well, I would.
If you'd like to take your time opening the door, please assess.
Yes, I would like to look at this door and see if I can ascertain some stuff about it. Whether this is truly the correct entrance or if it's a trap.
All right. Make an investigation check as you examine and investigate the door.
Would one of you care to join me?
Little Fox will help.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Together, we get a 17.
Nice. Okay. So the doors, they appear to be quite heavy, but they are set into, they look to be set into tracks. So rather than swing in, they seem to slide out into slots in the walls. There are handles on the front of the door, and coiled serpents right decorating it. And at your head height there is a hatch, ostensibly for someone inside to open to look and see who's outside.
Okay. Are there little holes at the bottom big enough for snakes to go through? Because
It depends on how big the snake is.
Because that would be cool. It'd be like a cat flap, but for snakes. Snake flap.
I think you could probably safely assume that would be the purpose of that 4-inch wide hole piercing the base of the door. It is much like a cat flap, but for snakes.
For snakes. Okay.
All right. Please let me do the talking in this case if we're going to meet whoever is on the other side of this door. So I wandered down.
I don't think there's going to be much talking.
I light my lantern as well because I'm
I
starting
can't
to not be
use
able
the
to
door
see.
here.
Yeah. Okay. So
It's
let
a
me.
3060 because it's a hooded lantern.
Okay.
One of the good ones.
There you are,
Oh,
Malik.
there's the door.
So Malik it lights his lantern, creating a pool of bright light around you.
Should we knock? I don't
think we're going to be able to open these quietly, though. I suppose we could try at least.
Do you think that he led us here merely to kill us easily, or is there
I
some?
don't know. If there's
I'm sure if there's someone on the other side of the door, they've already heard us standing on this side of the door talking about what we're going to do at the door.
Okay.
So
Yes, that's a good point.
why don't we just knock on the door?
Knock.
Okay, so kung 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 as you like hammer on these heavy bronze doors. There's a low scraping as the eye slit opens, and on the other side, 2 yellow eyes stare out at you, set into a serpentine face, and you hear a voice on the other side. Who goes there?
Greetings, snake person. We were led here by a effigy of some sort, created, I believe, by your master for us.
Ah, yes, the master's guests. You found our invitation.
Would you believe it's Ubtao at the door?
It's really hard to miss.
What is the purpose of your summoning us here?
Only the master knows. Throw down your weapons,
Oh,
and
that's
we
not-
will take you to him.
No, thank you.
I detect thoughts on him to start with.
He definitely has them. Boom, they're there.
That's great.
All right,
Thank
so you put a hand, Professor Xavier style, to your weird cranium brain helmet, and you wiggle your fingers like Mintok the Mind Taker. He gets a save, right? He gets
He does. Yeah, I'm just
it's
gonna.
a wisdom save, I think.
Oh man.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the long version.
You hear a
spell
theremin
save.
playing.
DC is 16.
All right, DC 16, wisdom save.
Yep.
All right. The Yuan Ti on the other side of the door. Ah, his mind is an impenetrable cloud. No, you can break through. It's a 15. So yeah, you initially learn his surface thoughts. There is tension. He has a desire to please his master. And as you probe deeper into his thoughts, his emotional state is one of tension. Yeah, and he wants. It seems he's not trying to like lie to you. They want you to throw down your weapons so that you don't threaten the master, and then they're going to take you to him.
Okay. We do not need to surrender our weapons. You will take us anyway. Like a suggestion. It's
Okay.
Like second step of the.
Yeah. Okay. So this time he gets another save.
Yes.
Same DC.
Yes. Oh, actually, I'm using my spell save DC. It might be the objects.
Oh yeah, you should check that. And yeah, sorry, he should have had advantage on that last one, but it's fine. We'll just keep going.
Yeah, he would have passed the last one. It was 13.
It's 13 because it's a helmet, not yours. Yeah, it doesn't get better with
Yes.
you. Okay, 13. All right, so let me see this one. We'll skip past that one, but he has advantage on this one, DC 13.
God, this helmet kind of sucks. Wow.
Okay, so you're like, we don't need to discard our weapons, and he looks at you and his eyes sort of like glow hypnotically. Yes, you do. Now you make a wisdom save.
Oh.
I can do it too, asshole. Yeah, it's like Jabba's palace, except that Luke throws his weapon down.
DC?
Yeah, that's the DC.
DC is 13, so you're fine.
Yeah, I'm like, see, is there an impasse then?
Yeah,
Either
no,
of
you
us
do
is
it. No,
worse.
you do it. Yeah, and he nods and he says, strong-minded. It makes sense the master would be interested in you, but you cannot visit his excellence armed as you are.
Can I just say that in the background, I'm like getting the short bow ready, like seeing if I might be able to like aim it through. the
Closing
wall.
one eye and trying to guess how hard it would be to shoot him in the eye.
Yeah, like
You might understand why we would be uncomfortable entering the lair of fellows like yourself who've tried to kill us many times, sans defenses. I can personally, well, I suppose, promise that I will not, during this conversation your master wishes to have, kill him.
You are scaleless filth. Your word means
I actually
nothing.
have scales.
Excuse me?
Yeah, he can't really see you. You're standing at the back.
3 of us have scales.
He can't tell.
Honestly.
You'll hide them under your clothes, except Ishi.
I don't hide them. I have them all over.
And he says, your very lives are a gift from Ross and Sea. You disrespect him by daring say no.
And it was no disrespect of his to send you and your fellows after. us
Warm-blooded
over.
slime like you are not worthy
I'm
of
not
respect.
Hold on.
He's not a biologist. Give him a break.
This is a small misunderstanding. Where I'm from, it's more important to address each other, even from a position of respect of one of your full strength. It would not be fitting to go before him without our full prowess on display. it might be seen as disrespectful
Oh,
to.
right. You're like, it would be offensive if we like threw aside our weapons. We'd be offending him because we'd be treating him like we need to disarm.
Yeah, he should be strong
Ooh.
enough that we can maintain our weapons.
Clever. All right,
that's-
let's have you make a deception roll. Let's have you try to trick this Malison.
Okay.
Sneaky. So the DC I think is gonna be, let's say DC 12.
Okay, that's a 16.
All right. So there's a moment where he's like, yes, fine. This makes sense, but know that if our master commands it, even with your weapons, you are helpless here in Dendar's home. And then you hear scraping as two other Yuan-Ti draw back the doors and
Yes, well, I
allow
certainly
you.
feel better being allowed to keep. It's like a security blanket sort of thing. I guess it's, you know.
Just we'll
Mumbling
put
under.
weapons sheath and
So you
You can't
see,
really
so hang
see
on,
that.
before you start walking into the room there, little fox, the floor directly in front of the door is a series of metal grates. So there's about 5 feet of like metal grating, which they're standing back from. And there is another strange type of creature that you have not seen before. So I'll show you the
What is
handout.
that?
They're a type of Yuan-Ti that I don't think you've never seen. So let me show them
They
to
look
you.
weird on a little
Yeah.
token.
Are they super ripped? Do they have nice abs?
No, these ones are strange and alien looking.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, so the brood guard of the Yuan-Ti, and they like look at you hungrily, their tongues flicking the
They're
cold
super
air.
big.
Yeah, they're big. Yep.
Very
I like those a lot. Can I be one if I die?
We'll talk about it later.
Okay, sweet.
Okay. So yeah, so now you can see into the tunnel there.
God, I feel really bad about like strolling through here.
There are a lot of snake people here.
Yeah, there
Or-
are.
let's
Orvex,
move
are
here.
you I mean, feel free to, you know, flee for your life if you wish, I suppose.
So Orvex, yeah, looks at you and he looks back behind him and he's like, well, I think I'm safer with you, and like runs
Yeah,
after you.
Alone
Probably
trouble
right.
in the city is
You're
probably
always
bad.
safer. You're always safer with the PCs unless there's an AOE, and then you're toast. Okay. So as you walk over the grating, you see below a writhing pit of snakes.
Of course.
Yeah.
They look angry.
Everything is snake themed.
Yeah.
Oh
So
man, I can't wait to climb the really, really long ladder.
get out.
Our aesthetics are very consistent here.
It's important. Yeah.
Everything is snakes.
Yeah. Snakes, everything.
Snake, snake, snake.
Yeah. You see David Hayter. He waves at you as you walk by.
God.
All right. So, yeah. So you can see into the fane further now. There is a chamber beyond where the light of your torch falls on an enormous statue, 10 by 10, probably 15-foot tall statue of a coiled snake directly ahead of you. This whole area is lit, so your lantern isn't necessary past this point. So inside. Inside, all of the area is lit by these green flames that are flickering on the walls, and so you can see beyond. Let me see the path that they would take you to the throne room of Ross and see. Okay, so the Malison at the front, he's one of those snake-headed ones. He looks at you and he says, honored guests, be on your best behavior. You are in Rasen C's home now. The fane awaits. I am guardsman Nath, and I will take you to him. This way. And he starts to
Like
lead
motion to the others and just try my best not to look like totally freaked out.
you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
I am.
Adam, do I see a bloody altar down this hallway?
You sure do. Yeah.
Yeah,
As you
okay.
walk by, two other Malisons peer you. Look, everybody runs back. Like, let me see the altar. Yeah. If you look down that way, yeah, you see what is certainly a sacrificial altar, scarred with knife marks and splattered with blood. There are two deep cuts in the floor where blood has dried.
Who dissed? Who dissed?
Hang on. So you get into that room. This room looks like a staging area. So as you walk in, let me read you the official description, and I'll tell you what else you see. So 4 pillars carved with serpent reliefs support the 20-foot-high ceiling of this large room. In the middle is an 18-foot-high statue of a coiled cobra facing north. Torches with green flames flicker on the walls, and the air reeks of dung. 2 wagons are parked in one corner, and a triceratops is confined to a metal pen in another. To the west are a pair of dark alcoves. In the south is a wide pillared hall. There are a bunch more brood guard in this room, as well as a Wanti pureblood who looks up at you hatefully as you come in. The Triceratops look like it's pretty well fed. It has a brand of a curled snake on one of its flanks, and it has, piercing its bone frill, 2 big metal rings that you would attach chains to like pull its head. It looks like it's probably big enough to pull both of those wagons. In addition, you spot, as you first come into the room, down here, past the Triceratops, 2 more creatures who are bound at the neck and chained to the wall. They are blue-scaled, squat creatures. I have a handout for them, too, because we got art for all this business.
I can't wait for all these different snakes.
And as soon as you see them, I'm sure some of you know exactly what response you will want to have to spotting them.
Look away.
Yeah, right? You see them in every, like, Malik immediately is like, oh shit, and like looks at the wall. So 8-legged lizard-like creatures, glowing blue eyes, which as soon as you start to see them, you're like, oh dear. But you notice that the when Noth walks in, the basilisks both turn away. They like turn their head down and look at the floor.
Wow.
And Noth sees you, Malik, and he grins, his snaky grin, and he laughs. He's like, do not be afraid, guests. Our basilisk warhounds are well trained.
Cool.
Some very impressive.
I look at the Triceratops, and I am sad.
Yeah, the Triceratops lows helplessly when you come in.
Oh, no.
Yeah, like looks at you like, hey, this sucks.
Someone in khaki shorts and a coral top is digging through its poop.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you see a paleontologist getting lifted up and down on its side. Yeah, so it's stuck in this pen. It looks like it's well fed, but it also has like goad marks all over its back, and the big like piercings, and you can see a mark on its snout of like a muzzle too.
Fox does the Arthur fist.
Yeah, Noth is like, you will see Ras and see is master of both the dead and the living. Come this way. And before that happens, you hear a woman's voice behind you, and she doesn't have the Yuan-Ti accent. You hear a woman's voice behind you say,
Oh no, is it someone else I can have a crush on?
Hold on, Noth. Who's this? And as you turn, you see a woman. At least, I mean, she's a woman. She's a human woman from like the top of her head to like about her waist. She's got actually really good art. I super want to show her to you. But she's stepped out and she's like, hold on now. What's all this about?
I want to see her art.
Let me see. Hold on, I gotta find it. I have so many handouts.
She looks badass in the token form. Come on.
She is badass. Here we go. All
Can't
right.
resist badass ladies. Oh yeah. That art is really cool.
So she's like,
those are, like,
hold on, Noth. Who's this? And you all turn, and she smiles and like nods her head to you, and she says, "The master didn't say we had guests." And Noth hisses, and he's like, "Mind your own business, Fenthaza. I'm taking them to see Ras and see." And she grins, and she's like, "But I can't help it. so curious about these outsiders.
We just arrived.
Rather curious about all of you as well.
I'm not really very curious.
I mean,
It is our greatest pleasures to make your acquaintance, mistress. We are humble adventurers summoned by your master.
And she she smiles back and she's and polite too. How charming.
I whisper over to Little Fox.
Maybe like the Alec is really good at sucking up to these guys when he's not killing them by the 3 or 4s at a time.
Yeah, and Little Fox just kind of like idly pats your head, like, yes, you're right, you're very funny. She doesn't want you to be talking too much.
Shut up, please.
Yeah.
Just like,
And so she says to Malik, I see you're not like the other humans we've encountered. So closed-minded. You're not afraid to mix company with those who are different from you. She smiles at Little Fox and Ishi. It would
I believe. Oh, sorry.
She says, it would please me greatly if I could speak with you a moment before your audience. And Noth hisses at her again, like, oh, fuck off, you. And then she looks at Noth, and the two of them, you can sense like some tension here. I'm gonna roll to see.
Charm on each other.
Yeah, right. They're both like, do it. No, you do it. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll to see if she can convince him.
God, little yuan-ti kids just like casting suggestion on each other as pranks.
Truth or dare would just be like wild hardcore.
Phantaza. We'll just make a charisma roll. Okay, all right. So he says, he hisses and he's like, very well, nightmare speaker. You may speak with them a moment, but I am coming with you. And she kind of rolls her eyes at you like, oh, this guy. And she says, please, guests, my chambers are this way. And she slithers off in this direction.
if you don't mind me asking, what exactly is a nightmare speaker? Sounds fascinating.
She, as you get closer to her, she waits for you to come back. Orvex like scampers behind you, like, oh, God, I hate this. She like caresses your arm, and she says, "You're a curious one. I'll answer all your questions in time. Come, have a drink with me." And she slithers off that way.
Oh dear.
Oh, good. We're going to the altar. Yay.
So she has two guards, two Malisons, standing like with their abs rippling, waiting for her. They stand guard outside her door, and then she goes inside in this little room and invites you all to come in.
There's a little room. I can't see it.
You gotta go forward.
Yeah.
There it is.
I mean, I can't see it still. There
You're
we
in
go.
it.
I'll say, I can see it as you, so there you go.
I couldn't. It was black.
Okay,
All right.
there you go.
Now
Get
I
up
can.
close.
Okay, so this room, she says to you, little fox, she says, "Please, the door." And Noth is like slithering up right behind you, like, hey, wait for me.
And yeah, we get the shot of just the door closing. on his
Yeah,
face.
and he hisses, and he says outside, he says, "Be quick, Fenthaza. Rasen C does not want to wait." And so once the door is closed, you see Fenthaza's room. So her room, let me describe it for you. A haze of incense lingers inside this chamber. Faded murals decorate the walls, and throw rugs and cushions lie scattered on the floor. An engraved chest rests in one corner next to a stone urn covered with snake carvings. So Fenthaza has she slithers onto this pile of pillows and kind of like settles in, and she looks at the group of you and she says, "Please sit." And she gestures to her table. She says, "I've just made tea. I'm sorry I don't have any more conventional furniture for you, but..." And she gestures at her legs like,
It's fine.
I'm a half snake.
I just sit on the floor.
No. Yeah, so you come in.
I like make a motion to like sit, and then like my armor like catches at the like knees and hips, and I'm like, oh, stand. Fine.
Yeah. So so she says to you, "Why are you here?" guests of Ross and Sea?
Well, we got a whole bunch of things, and we're trying to figure out some stuff about the scary tomb. And we were supposed to come see Ross and See about it. We got a bunch of puzzle cubes.
Um,
I'm really surprised nobody interrupted me on this.
Yeah,
Like,
right?
how-
Like, she's
how
just
many
letting you
times have I
talk.
done this?
that last bit, I like. Arcturus is definitely like after you'd already said it, like.
It's hard. The characters went, but I don't want to interrupt you as a
No,
person.
it's totally fine. Like, feel free.
Then-
Rather,
then
what
yes,
he
I
what
will.
he means to say is that we were left a quite obvious sign that we should either come here or perhaps suffer horrible, painful death. So here we are.
Yes, we mean to ascertain whether or not your master, Miss Raston C, has anything to do with the death curse.
Death curse.
Do we necessarily have to work together or against each other?
Death curse, you say? Please.
Yep.
Tell me more about this.
Oh, it's interfering with the workings of resurrection magic on the whole peninsula.
On the whole, everywhere, actually.
It's quite
Fascinating.
well, for people who have died before, it's rather horrible. Quite lucky that we haven't ever died, come to think of it.
She smiles and she says, in the end, everyone is embraced by the night serpent, but it's understandable you'd want to avoid it as long as you could.
Tell me more about this night serpent. Is that whom you and the rest of your people worship? I'm not very familiar with how familiar am I with?
Make a religion check.
Yeah, let's see how familiar I already am with the night serpent stuff.
Actually, I'm my profession to help you with that.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, you can't really help in the middle of a conversation, right? You could both make
That's
individual
fine.
rolls, but
And on a previous episode, Little Fox already
Yep.
remembered who the Night Serpent was.
So you got a 13.
Oh yeah, we've already done it in this campaign. It's Dendar.
Dendar the Night Serpent, known also as Eater of the World, the Night Nidhogg, Mother of the Night Parade. We made that joke the last time. A serpent of dreams, a primordial entity who came into existence shortly after the first being slept and had a nightmare.
Wait, a primordial entity?
Yes. Yeah, a great elder entity. And and so you ask and recall this yourself. And she says, yes, my people serve Dendar, great night serpent, and I, as one of her nightmare speakers, an interpreter of dreams, of visions. I seek to please the sleeping serpent until she awakens and fulfills her destiny.
So what is it you do as a nightmare speaker for this serpent? Is it just interpreting dreams or motions out to the hallway where there was blood?
Yeah.
And
I don't think you want to pry too far into that, Arcturus. I know you're curious, but the rituals.
Yeah, she grins,
participation.
and you can see her like snake fangs, right? And she says, "We weed out the unworthy from the worthy."
Right. Okay. Arcturus is just like, oh, okay, yeah. So this is one of those types. So, yep, okay.
What do you know about my people?
You're very charming.
I would love to find out what I do know about them, just generally in terms of.
You know all the basic stuff about Yuan-Ti, like that you've read Valos.
Okay, yeah, that's true. So I say.
Valo prepared you somewhat for some of the basic general stuff.
I mean, just
Yeah.
see what Volo has.
But it depends on what you'd want to tell her, right? Like if you're like, I know some very static, boring stuff, or that may not be what she's asking, right? So what do you say?
I say, your people have interesting view of the way that the world works in general, in terms of what is right to take if you have the strength to do so, and the ends to which you are willing to go to obtain the things that you want, as I suppose is evidenced by your taking over of this once human city.
We are a displaced people. We had a home once in the jungle, but Hisari was lost to us. Omu had been abandoned long before we arrived, and there was none left to contest it. And so what you see before you, which means like the Fane, is all that remains. I hope then you will understand our willingness to defend it from outsiders. Any violence that came upon you above was merely an attempt to defend our nest. And as I'm sure you must know, there is no surer thing than to be bit by a cornered snake.
Yeah, Mug nods. He says,
Arcturus, like, wide-eyed, blushes a little.
if you're not aware of this curse going on in the land, I had made assumptions as to the origin. They had all led us here.
It is easy for the warm bloods to blame us for all the bad things that happen to them. They fear us. This I understand. The night serpent is a thing to be feared. She coils around men's dreams. But this death curse, it is not our doing. Ras and Sea thinks himself a mighty necromancer, but he's rotting away. His strength fading. He dies a little bit every day and is leading us to ruin.
I don't want to discount everybody from the situation, but it seems like she's probably got things that she doesn't want the brood god to overhear. So I try and establish the link with kind of a message of like, do you need to speak privately about your misgivings? I still have to cast the spell, and she would probably resist it.
Yes,
But
yeah, sure.
Yeah, we'll detect thoughts again, because I can do the detect thoughts like as many times. It's just the suggestion is used up.
Okay. Her mind is impenetrable.
That's fine. It sounds like he is also afflicted in that case.
In his desperation to continue his pathetic life, Rasensi has made arrangements with other powers. He has strayed from the path of the Night Serpent.
Well, I'm just rather wondering why you would choose to reveal division within your group to us.
Obviously, she wants us to stab Ross and C. Come on, this is all a preamble to the whole, like, we're going to go meet him, and then we're going to stab him, and then she's going to be happy with us.
I think that's a rather terrible idea, considering, you know, everybody.
But like, and I look at her, and I'm like, but tell me I'm wrong. Like, it's what you want.
Yeah, she nods, and she says, your little friend is right. We are coming to a point. I have seen it in my nightmares If we continue to follow Ras and C and his dark master, it will mean the end for all our people. We stand upon a precipice, and as you so subtly pointed out, I am desperate. I do not seek power for myself, but to serve the Night Serpent. Ras and C was not born one of us, but adopted the mantle of our people for his own gain. I would see him cast down, but cannot do so myself.
That's all well and good, really. Honestly, I can't say that we came here with conflicting aim, but there are a lot of your kind here, and we would not make it far were we to kill their leader in his den. Seems rather stupid to attempt it.
There are those who share my feelings about Ras and C. If you help me, I will assure your safety from them, at least. Blood will be spilled one way or another.
I mean, because you see, the problem here, and this, just what I'm seeing right now is you told us this, so either you get assurance that we're going to do the thing for you, or now you have to deal with the fact that you told us this and we're going to go talk to Ras and C after. So
wait.
You will find
one way or another.
You will find no such peace offering granted you by the madman Ras and C. Tell him what I said to you if you wish. It will mean your death either way.
I'm not really saying that I'm going to do that. I'm just saying that
I swore an oth to the Naga. But
she raises her eyebrow like, what, Naga?
Yeah. It was a long time ago.
This is different. It was some episodes ago.
But perhaps if you wish us to accomplish such a great task, and Arcturus looks over at Malik and the puzzle cubes in his bag, he's like, you could do something for us. You have 2 of those cubes with the carvings on the side, or Ras and C does, or they are somewhere here, right?
She nods.
We want them, I think. Right?
I'm not sure why yet, however. I believe the conversation should be diverted to that before whatever happens.
So she says, yes, from the shrine, the one the wizards were looking for. You can use them to open the tomb of the 9 gods.
Is that the one with the
vision? She says the visions are unclear, but their import is not. They will serve you. And if you defeat Ras and C, you may have them. I will help you as best I can. But I cannot turn my Yuan-Ti against their brethren. If there's bloodshed, it will be yours alone to handle. If you refuse me, and this comes to blows, I must act as though we work together, Ras and C and I. And I will have to kill you.
I mean, for you or not, Malik and myself are already...
I don't know, sounds pretty clear-cut to me. Either get help or not get help.
She nods. Exactly. She's like, you find yourself with an unexpected ally here in the Serpent's Nest. Take my assistance if you wish, or do not.
We will find a way to.
I can't see how it could put us in a worse position than we're currently in, Malik.
No, I do not disagree. I just was not hoping to play all the cards straight away, as we want to do.
She's playing all of hers. Well,
yes,
a lot of them. I don't know that.
Never mind that now. Fine. We will continue on. We will meet with Ras and C. I will find out what he knows and seriously consider your offer.
She nods and she says, others have come before you. I have not spoken with them, but I am desperate now. You have me at a disadvantage, but you are still in Ras and C's home. It will be easier to get in than it is to get out.
Okay, so we'll follow spooky snake guy outside all the way to Ross and C. We'll stab Ross and C in the face, and then we'll leave.
Well,
And
maybe
hopefully
not
you'll
the
help us out.
face, you know, check
Allow,
the...
allow me as we leave to put on a show of disdain for you and your ideas. Just to continue this on for a little longer.
She nods.
All right.
Okay.
Very
so-
well, companions. Let's head further into the belly of the beast, as it were.
Okay. So do you like storm out or?
Yeah. I just try and play it up.
Yeah, so given that you've said that, Little Fox is going to help by just like by opening the door, but kind of slamming it open
Mhm.
and just being like, "Grrr," like doing a big like growl. All right, then she like punches the door against the wall again.
Yeah, Noth kind of like jumps back. Yeah, Malik, make a performance check with advantage.
Yeah, I would like to be helping.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 19.
Okay, all right. So Noth grins like, "Ha, see, I told you," and he says, "Fenthaza has wasted enough of your time, I see. She is addled in the mind, a nightmare speaker, yes, but darkness has clouded her vision." And he turns and he hisses back at her and he says, "Keep your nose out of the master's business in future, Fenthaza." And she like kind of obsequiously is like, I'm sorry, Nath. Like I thought maybe, but never mind, I was wrong. And Nath strides out like, "Ha, see, I told you, Ross rules."
Ross rules, everyone else rules.
Yeah. Yeah. You should see he's got it in his locker. He's got a t-shirt that says Ross and C #1. Ross has a
just
mug he
imagining
got from
Wallace,
Nath
like-
that says #1 Snake Boss. It's a whole thing.
80s snake frat boys
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh my god.
with like cut up t-shirts and stuff. Oh man, that'd be so good.
Fate of the
I
Night
like
Serpent
this
football
sketch.
rules. All right. So Nath leads you through the
Tunnel snakes.
the tunnel snakes exactly. All right.
The South Central Omu High School tunnel snakes.
So they lead you. Nath leads you through the war room, where the brood guard like hiss and look at you, and then he leads you out into this next chamber. And this one's an impressive one. This is a big one. So that object in front of you, up on the platform, is a gong. It's an enormous metal gong. What room is this? This is room number 9. But the room itself. The room itself is the Fane proper. An underground cathedral opens before you. Here, Chad, I'm going to move the pox so you can look at it too. An underground cathedral opens before you. At one end, sculptured balcony perches atop 5 rearing stone serpents. That's where you can see up in the top here, this balcony. Blood dribbling from the serpent's jaws falls into a semicircular basin. From there, flows along a sloped trough into a wide stone bowl set in the floor. South of the bowl is a mezzanine, prominently situated atop which is a cauldron of steaming broth that exudes fleshy odors. As we pan over it, we see like a hand kind of float to the top. To the west, a huge gong carved with snake patterns stands on a second balcony. If anybody has ever seen Conan the Barbarian, this should all be very clearly like inspired.
Snakes
These are the two
facing
things.
each other.
Yeah, so there's this big thing up here. There's this meaty stench wafting up from the blood cauldron. And what is everybody's reaction to this room? Are you all trying to be like straight faced? Orvex is like peeing himself a little. He's peeing himself so much.
Yeah, it's definitely up over my nose and just like not into it.
I
She's
think
like,
there's a part of Arcturus that is like, this is disgusting and a waste of life. And there's another part that is like, oh, interesting religious practices.
Yeah.
she's like,
Smells all right. I don't know what you're all complaining
Right?
about.
You're like, oh, is you guys making soup?
yeah.
So Nath
Who's been stealing my pocket soup recipe?
Nath looks at you. He pauses a moment and looks at you and he says, "Impressive, isn't it?"
Yep.
And he like just like looks appreciatively on the scene, like, yeah, this is great. I like
That is
this.
quite a lot of blood, yes.
Yeah, and he says, "Sustenance worthy of our mother, great night serpent. Come this way." And he leads you down the ramp. Everything in here is Yuan-Ti accessible. There's no stairs. It's all ramps because they don't have legs, lots of them. So they all have these like slithering ramps that they can go up and down. And you,
Adam,
you
is the
approach
blood
this
like
door.
steaming? Is it
Yeah.
like really hot?
It's
Okay.
like bubbling, like something is magically keeping it like warm.
I was gonna like scoop some, but
It's not like boiling hot, but you'd have to like climb up to peer over the edge.
I mean,
Just
I
as a
think
point
this
of
was
order,
the soup, right?
Lilfox is not paying attention to the like conversation at all. She is just scoping out everything else. She's just like, okay, what's gonna kill us here?
Yep.
Like looking around, like I'm making a point of looking down this hallway. I see maybe there are some zombos at the end of it.
Yeah, and what's great, chat can't see this, but what's great is that everything that you look upon should remain in your cleared like fog of war, so you can remember to like run down that hallway if you need to later. But yeah, there's a long hall with a T intersection down that way, and there's like a group of or you see a Yuan-Ti pureblood down that hallway at the end, and I don't know if you'd be able to see. Let me see if there's anything else you can see down there. Looking down that way. Yeah, you don't see any of the room. You just see a Yuan-Ti. She's moving back and forth, and you see her carrying a vial in one hand as she walks by the open entrance.
It's like the zombie lab or something.
Yeah, something like that,
You
exactly.
can see a little bit of a ghoul hiding over here
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, and then like through the bars, I can see there's some Yuan-Ti, there's some kind of like plinth or altar or something, and yeah.
There's some stuff going on down there, yep.
We are surrounded.
And yeah, and Noth looks up and he sees you peering around. It's like, "This way, curious strangers."
Yeah, right. Sorry.
And he places his hands on the door, and he says, "Welcome to the hall of our Lord and Master, Ras and Si, King of all Omu, chosen of the Night Serpent." And he grins and he starts to push the door open. And I think that as the door is open, then we fade to take our first break. So we'll come back and we'll introduce you to mighty Ras and Si when we return. Don't go anywhere. We got lots more Roll20 Presents Tomb of Annihilation coming at you right after this.